We're gonna start the whole podcast today. Little like add on to the last podcast. So the last podcast, if you listened, of course, was kind of the Valentine's podcast. And within that podcast, I was talking about love languages. I was kind of educating myself a little bit on them, trying to figure out, if it's a real thing or not, whatever. Finding my own and shit like that. And so I had some comments on that video, on that the pod, about love languages. And someone left a comment on the video. Let me make sure I get the name right. And that is Megan Jackson. Going by the picture, a beautiful young lady. She said, "Hey, JC, why don't you read the book? The 5 love languages." So I took that advice and I did it. I did read it. And if you know from the last episode, like I said, oh, it's some bullshit because all men are always going to say their love language is touch because men love sex and shit like that. Like that say shit. I love some sex. Yes, to touch me. So they always going to say that. So I was like, no, that is the nonsense. First of all, that probably ain't my love language anyway. I don't know what it is right now at the moment. So anyway, through this past week, I read it. All right. Begrudgingly, I'm going to say, yes, it seems that my love language is touch. All right. And I did educate myself on the whole thing. A lot of it made more sense than, other than myself, like speaking this ignorantly. Is that even a word? Ignorantly on the podcast last time about it. But it was a good read. But yes, mine is touch. But not in a sexual way. Okay? Not in a sexual way. More like in, hugs and holding hands and caressing and all that kind of stuff. All the stuff that happens before sex. And this in regular day life. Don't like, when you sit beside a female and they throw their leg across your leg and shit like that. Oh yeah, that's it. That's where it's at. That is where it's at. Men know what I'm talking about. So anyway, I found that out about myself based off of that, actually reading the book, learn a little bit. Now, that being said, I still think it's not totally needed to know someone's love language. I think communication is still a big thing in the world. I feel like it should, still be used. But either way, moving on from all that. So thank you to Megan Jackson for recommending me to read that. So feel free to slide in my comment section any old time, especially looking at your profile picture. Anyway, so let's go get the intro out of the way, and then we'll dive into a few things. So this is the JC Weakley podcast, and I believe we're on episode 9. This is episode 9. We're slowly approaching double digits here on episode 9. JC Weakley podcast. You can catch me on all the cool socials. TikTok, JC Weakley Talks. Instagram, JC_Weakley. I'm on Substack where I write some shit. I be writing. So if you're into poetry and stuff like that, that's where that stuff goes. Of course, YouTube is JC Weakley. So you're here watching me, so you know what that is. All right, and with that, all that socials talk out of the way, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I am very burnt out on social media at the moment. And I think it's because it's so heavy on short form stuff. That's why I kind of started doing this, because I'm just so burnt out on the short form stuff and algorithms and such. You look at one thing a little too long, and then the whole fucking feed is that thing. And hey, I wasn't that interested in wood carving. I just wanted to see what the guy was making. Anyway. as smart as these algorithms are, and this ain't why I'm burnt out, this just came to mind. As smart as these algorithms are, why is it my Instagram explore page is still full of beautiful black women with big titties and fat asses? Now, look, when I first joined Instagram, I used it the proper way that men use Instagram, to follow a bunch of bad bitches and porn stars. Okay? That's what I did. That's what my feed was. But when your feed is like that, it gets to a point like you can't open your shit up in public. Like, you don't know what's going to come up on there. All right? And so after a while, even though I was enjoying myself, it was fun to look at. But you get to a point where, like, you can't open your shit up, like, hey, what you looking at? None. You got to turn one of those joints right there. You got to turn one of those right there. I had to stop following people. I had to unfollow. I had to clear the whole thing out. Okay? I had to clear the whole thing out. I had to clear all of it out, start over. We starting over. And so that's what I did. I cleared all the IG models and whatnot out. Started over. Kept it a little cleaner. I might throw a few in here and there, okay? But otherwise, kept it clean. Years have gone by, and my Explore page still looks like it did when I first, was on my first run, As much stuff I've been looking at and things I've been getting into on my Instagram that doesn't involve fat asses and big titties, why is it still showing me all this? Why do I still? I mean, I ain't complaining. I'm just saying, like, if I go to my Explore page, like, that's kind of, as a grown ass man, I feel like that's kind of embarrassing a little bit, You see, just like, all that. There's like a wall of, like, hey, look at all that hanging out there, Why hasn't the algorithm picked up that, hey, I've moved on? I haven't matured in my Instagram scrolling, okay? I feel like I've liked and shared enough things that, we can throw a few different items in there. But no, it hasn't. Hopefully we'll get there. Actually, I checked today right before I got on here just to see how it was looking. And we're sprinkling a few things in there. But I just feel like it's as smart as they think these algorithms are. It ain't got that goddamn smart, because it thinks I'm still, whenever fucking Instagram came out, it thinks I'm still there. I ain't there no more. Anyway, I'm getting burnt out from social media, and I have so many times just thought about deleting most social media apps. I think this is for my own creativity, own sanity. The doom scrolling that I tend to do sometimes, I'm trying to dial back, but either way, Instagram, fix your algorithm. All right, fix your algorithm. Anyway, so I saw something interesting that Keke Palmer, the actress, said, and it had me thinking. She was asked about marriage, I think, in an interview, or she was on a Today Show or some of the sort. Was asked about being interested in marriage again. And she said she would be open to the idea, but she don't want her husband to live with her. Like, she don't want to live with nobody. She's fine with being married. She don't want him to, like, she can't have, and isn't interested in having someone living with her all the time. So I saw that, and I thought about that. And I do think it's an interesting concept. Because so depending on your age, Do y'all remember when, like, your grandparents, you go over their house, they got 2 beds at the house? My grandparents had 2 different rooms. And he thought that was the weirdest thing, because my parents, slept together and whatnot. My grandparents, they 2 different beds. And of course, you see on like older TV shows, husband and wife were in 2 different beds. Might have been beside each other, but they were in 2 different beds. But like just having whole different houses, like that's. At first, I was like, oh no, that's kind of crazy. Well, not crazy, but is that something that would be like viable? And so I started thinking about my own self and how I'm okay alone a lot of times. And sometimes you don't want to be around nobody. The problem is, like, to be with that, to do this, the whole thing, you have to have basically both parties agree. Like, oh, that's cool. We'll do this whole thing where we live in different houses. I feel like if it was going to work, like if you live like on the other side of town, I think that's kind of I think you gotta live beside each other, something like that, right? Like you're not living with me, but you're close enough so if I need to see you, or I get the craving to want to spend some time with, like, you just walk across the yard, come on in the front door, you know where I'm at. Because otherwise it's just dating. That's basically just dating. And if you think about it, that's all marriage is. It's just dating. And you get a piece of paper that says you're legally bound now. And you decide to live together. I feel like this could become a thing. Like my generation and older, like back. I feel like that would sound silly too. Because like everything is shared. It's a very, my generation and older is going to be like a very certain way of doing things because it's the way it's been done for a long time. And like even the idea of like not sharing bank accounts, which is I've noticed with a lot of coworkers I work with who are younger than myself, like, and are married, like they have separate bank accounts. Like, I would never even think of that. Like, oh no, it's all, just throw it all in the same pot. Who the fuck cares, Your money's my money's, whatever. It's all our money. We earning this together. We building something here. It seems like most people, though, now when they get together, they keep separate bank accounts for whatever reason. I don't know what this shift was. I don't know if I want to have my own. I don't want nobody can know what I'm buying or being in control of any of my money, this, that, and the other. You ain't gonna use the money I earn, shit like that. Which was never a thought when I got married. It's all our money, whatever. But like living separately, that's something different. So if you're living separately and you're legally married, like Keke Palmer don't got to worry about this because she got money. But anybody else, like you're legally married but living separately, you're paying for 2 places. You're paying for 2 places, and if you have children, like how does that work? That's almost like that. I feel like that part of will probably be the hardest part. Will be if you have children. Like they're gonna find that, oh, why are we all just not living together as all my other friends and their parents are, But if you don't have children, and let's say let's just go with the thought process, you do not intend to have children, and you're both okay with the idea, I almost think it's not a bad idea to do that. Like we grew up people always saying, oh, before you get with someone or marry someone or live with them long term, you better like live with them before you marry, so you know where each other stand, you get comfortable with each other, and understand how each like one could be a fucking slob and you don't even know. Be lazy around the house and don't do shit. And while you're very particular and neat and whatnot, you ain't gonna notice. You go have the honeymoon, come back, and then you butt heads because of such. But this way, each of you can live how you want to live and see each other when you want to see each other. But still, there's just something to like passing each other in the hallway, like give a little slap on the ass, something. Or if they're going through something and it happens right then, and they need to talk to somebody, you got to call them up and tell them to come over, or just talk on the phone. I don't like talking on the phone, especially for long periods of time. I mean, I'll do it, but it ain't my favorite thing. But it's an interesting concept because my mind is split. Like, I'm like, oh, that could work, or maybe not. I mean, the good thing about it, hey, if you have an argument, say you're at the house, one of the houses, you have the argument, you can just fucking leave, go back to the house. You ain't got to be around that tension, But then, say, things, blow over, you're missing the makeup sex because you ain't at the house. Maybe she realized she was wrong. She come down and was like, oh, let's do some makeup sex. But you ain't there. You across town at your house now. But no, it's an interesting idea. And I mean, I feel like saying it out loud, like, oh, I don't want to live with me, I feel like it would end up being, because like just hanging out with the person, I feel like you're going to spend a lot of time together at one of the places, right? Just chilling, watching a movie, sitting on the couch, reading, just talking, doing something. A lot of the time, you're going to be together. There's going to want to be sexual activities involved. So that's some time together. Like, really, when you think about it, at what point are they not there? At what point are you not living together? I don't know. Maybe her life different. I mean, obviously it is because she's an actress. But still, I mean, she ain't not gonna be at the house all the time. She's an actress, but normal people, I don't know. I mean, it could work I guess it could work for people. I'm just trying to see both sides of it. Like, if I really, really loved being around someone, that's what I would want to be. I would just want to be around them. We ain't got to always be in the same room. We ain't always going to do the same thing. But I know you're around. I know you're around. So in case I wanted to just swing by, say I'm watching something in the other room, you're over there reading whatever. If I just want to swing by and say, hey, what's up? Talk for a few minutes, maybe throw a kiss, and then we move on. But you're right there. You're not, at some other residence. It's an interesting thing. But I can definitely see, like, younger generations moving towards that, doing things like that. And it probably would work, to be honest. I guess I'm just old. I guess I'm just old. Maybe it wouldn't work for me. Anyway, speaking of younger generations, so the Tyler Perry new movie came out. Joe's college road trip. It's basically a film complaining that the newer generations don't appreciate history, only care about themselves and going forward in the future, and don't care about history and what happened and the struggle that was had to get what they are, to get what they have now. So obviously we're speaking about the black struggle. That's basically what the film is. It's and I like the message of it, and it is funny. But I think someone might need to go check on Tyler Perry. Okay? So I'm a big Tyler Perry critic. I don't like a lot he rushes a lot of shit and just throws movies out there. But this particular one is focused on Joe, his character. He plays Joe. This movie can rival the amount of cursing, like as in Pulp Fiction. And he even knows who watches his movies. He knows there's a large religious, audience, black religious audience, because there's even at the beginning of the movie a warning that Joe's going to say a lot. This is exactly what's said. I'm not even kidding. Joe says a lot of motherfuckers. Joe says a lot of bitches. Joe says a lot of pussies. This is at the beginning. It's like he has the voiceover saying this. like, hey, if this is something that bothers you, you might have to go somewhere else. But you're gonna miss all the hilarity. That's the thing at the beginning. So I was like, okay, because I saw it was rated R, and it said it also had some brief nudity and sexual situations. I was like, oh, okay, shit, Tyler stepping out. And yes, Joe curses a lot. And curse don't bother me. I curse a lot. But I guess I wasn't really expecting how much it was, because there was a lot. And I was like, oh shit, this is a bunch of fucking Pulp Fiction. That's the way he's throwing stuff around. He's saying any old thing. And there are sexual scenes. I mean, like, sexual scenes. Like, from Tyler Perry, of all people. But it is funny. But I need somebody to go check on Tyler Perry, because is this going to be a shift in the films he's going to make? If so, I'm here for it. I am here for it, because sometimes I feel like it's just a little too hallmarky for me. Really not my thing. But if we move in this direction, I ain't mad at it. I'm not mad at it. But like I said, the movie is about the youth, and I agreed with it. How the youth doesn't care to learn about their history. And obviously the movie's specifically talking about Black history. And so it made me think about my own kids who are half Black. And so they're both 14 and 11 now, but me and my ex-wife have always made sure that we did our best to try and tell them about their history, because we knew the schools wouldn't. We don't trust the schools to do it, because we came across quite a bit of whitewashing of history, and we're like, oh no, some bullshit. Don't listen to your teacher. And they're like, you're saying my teacher's lying? We're like, yes, your teacher's lying. So we did our best to make sure we always told them about certain people and what happened and this and the other. Problem is, these motherfuckers don't care. Don't care one bit. They are just concerned on what's going on right now and into the future. And sometimes I don't think they even care about the future. They are just concerned. So it's very concerning. And the thing is, I think it's getting up on a soapbox on a movie and saying all this shit doesn't change anything. I mean, it's kind of like all the shit going on in the world now. People get on soapboxes, and it's nothing changed. Shit's getting worse, to be honest with you. But it does make me worry, because I want my kids to be aware and have an appreciation of their heritage and Black culture, because we all know ain't no such thing as white culture. I can't tell them none. But they just don't put the time in to appreciate. Like, they sit on these fucking computers and shit, and do all this. They'll have a care in the world. but I don't understand what people had to go through to get for that allow them to be able to do that. So that's what the movie's about, and it did hit me on that point, and it's funny, but otherwise not great. Good for the first hour, not as great to last than the last hour. So yeah, I think it's evident sometimes that I use this podcast. This is an open journal. Sometimes I get thoughts out of my head, and this is something I've been thinking about for a bit. Is my lack of someone to bounce my thoughts off of. I'm talking someone that you can say anything to that you may have done or any thoughts you may have. They won't judge, and they will do their best to give you mature. They might throw a little joke in, because what all friends do. Might throw a little joke in, but mature and helpful, thoughtful answers to any questions you might have, problems you might bring up. And I thought about this. I don't think I have that. Like, I have got close friends. I mean, I've got a best friend I've known over 20 years. Actually, over 25 years. I don't feel like I say I can bring everything. Okay, can't bring everything. Because you know how guys are. We just be too immature sometimes. You trying to be, put your heart out there, and they still in guy mode. They give the guy answer. They don't actually give like the actual the human being answer. They give the guy answer. I'm trying to be like give me something a little better than hey, bitches ain't shit. Just give me give me a little something. Give me something. She need to just get over it. I don't know. You didn't do anything but fuck that bitch once. You know what I'm saying? It just help me out here. Like I don't have that, and so I've always just carried my problems right up here and up here, and I've just talked to myself in my head basically. I don't think that's healthy. And so it makes me wonder, is anybody else have this issue where they feel like, oh, I'm just dealing with all this shit by myself, and I really don't have anyone to bounce this off of or say it to. Like, I'm of the mind that this is even for the people who say they have that person in their life that they're able to say anything to. I'm still of the mind that there's still, I won't say most, there's a lot of people out there, even with someone to bounce off of, dude, they won't say everything. There might be things they have done or thought or think about or have feelings about that they won't say. They won't put it out there. Like, I feel like it's tough to open up your whole heart, personality, and psyche to somebody. It's just the fear of it. It's just the fear on what they'll think and what they'll do. I mean, it might not do anything, but I guess it's just the fear of it. And so I often wonder that the way I deal with certain situations, relationships, emotional situations, and I'm not saying I deal with them poorly, I'm just saying what it is because I don't have anyone to bounce anything off of and get that second opinion. I'm just going off my own. I'm just talking with myself, so I'm getting the same opinion every time. It's my opinion. So that's what I want to throw out there. So I want people in the comments. to roll through. That's what I want. That's what the topic I would like to. I wouldn't mind hearing about. You want to talk about those? They fine too. That's a topic I want to hear about too. Like, how healthy is your relationships with those type of people? And if you have them, if you don't, you just doing them like me, just beating your way through it with yourself. Like, how's that going for you? How's that going for you? I don't think it's healthy, but I did all right, I guess. I made it this far. I've had to. But yeah, go up in the comments section. Megan Jackson, go up in the comments. Go up in the comments. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for me. Before I just start opening my heart to this camera and mic is gonna about to be my best friend. Y'all gonna hear all my business, hear all of it, put it all out there. And God knows it might happen one night. I might just get my feelings and just spill it all. Y'all hear every goddamn thing about me. Anyway, I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. That was episode 9, JC Weakley Podcast. Follow me everywhere that I mentioned in the beginning. Until next time, peace.